Wait for the live to go up. I know my audio is terrible, but you know, I think it's time we should. There we go. So yeah, we're this is the first time I ever did this. In my opinion, my hair is like too messed up to even have it like curl. Oh boy. God of War Ragnarok. I was waiting for this game since like what, June? Alright, I'm gonna stop fidgeting with stuff. Yeah, so I've been waiting for this game since June when I played it. My first playthrough, I had a really fun time. You can tell by my reactions to what happened in the story. I do want to say, yeah, I just want to get the positives out of the way before I get to the negatives. The game's one-shot scenes are amazing. I don't think there's a single thing wrong with those, even I'll say that again in the previous game. The positive things is, like, I love is, like, they added a new weapon. Like, obviously, the Draupnir spear, or however you pronounce it, the spear is really good. And then, well, yeah, the spear is really good, the Blades of Chaos are really good, and just the weapons are really good. I don't really know what I'm saying, I don't have a script, but there's a lot of things I want to address on God of War Ragnarok, and I was looking at some reviews. The gameplay is, in my opinion, is perfect. I'm just saying. To me, it was perfectly fine. I beat the game opening somewhat of the chest. I never got a health upgrade or a, what do you call it? Or a rage upgrade. Never got opened a single one of those chests because I just never liked them. And as you guys can tell, I basically rushed through the game as quick as possible. Which I've done. This was my any % stream, so I'm not gonna go back and play it. I played it a little bit this morning. I was like, alright, why not do a side mission or two off screen? I couldn't even do those, man. Like, those are like, oh my god, they just got really hard for some reason. But I just want to address issues with the story is my major complaint that I just want to get my opinion on out there before people think, well, like, oh, I actually like this game. I think there's nothing wrong with it. I think there's a lot of things wrong with it. I don't know why my head's tilted, but I think there is a lot of things wrong with, not a lot, like, yeah, some things wrong with God of War Ragnarok, and the worlds are great, except for one. I want to get a few more positive things out. The worlds are great. The boss fights, I love them. Oh my god, dude. The boss fights are there's so much more boss fights than there were in the previous game, which is that's good. Like, the boss fights is a lot more boss fights. I loved the boss fights in this game. I don't think there was a single one I absolutely despised so far from what I played. None of them, to me, were ever frustrating. They were all, like, fine. They all made sense. Even times when I was craving a boss fight would come. And, like, sometimes it would be, like, one boss fight or, like, somewhat two boss fights would show up, and I don't really have a tier list for bosses, but I probably might make one on the stream after my rant, maybe, probably not, but I want to address the problems of Ragnarok. Let's just start with the obvious one out of the way. The story kinda threw me off. At the beginning, the story threw me off, and at first I understood, like, oh, Kratos, like, doesn't want his son to go to war, he doesn't want to put him through that. Actually, no, I'm sorry, that's the wrong thing. I'm talking about. When Thor just left in the first bout, like, his first fight in Midgard, he just left, and that kind of threw me off. I don't know why he would just leave like that, and his arrival too was just I don't know, man. I'm not a fan of it. I wasn't a fan of his arrival when he walked into the door and he just starts like drinking. Like, I know it gets us to start a good fight, don't get me wrong, but I don't know, maybe the fight could have started differently. I don't know, that intro was funny, don't get me wrong, where he just grabs the hammer, like, you see my reaction, I'm like so like caught off guard, like, what just happened? But yeah, anyways, I wasn't really a fan of, oh, by the way, I'm gonna be jumping all over the place. I wasn't really a fan of, like, how it started with him just drunk. Or somewhat drunk. I don't know. I don't even know if he was drunk during that scene, but he brought, like, beer or something. I'm just like, huh? And Odin just... I wished Odin, we saw him be a bit more evil, because he just sounds like some nervous... Like, Thor sounds like a drunk uncle. And what was it? And Odin just sounds like, that manipulative family member. That's what he sounds like, and I'm just like... No, he sounds like he's basically the manipulative boyfriend. And I'm gonna be honest, I don't like it. He comes off somewhat when you hear him as, like, too nice to Atreus. And I mean, I guess that's... Oh, well, oh my god, I'm an idiot. Yeah, that's basically what he's trying to be, is be nice to him. But sometimes he gets nice for no reason. Like, the way when Thor died, and he was talking to Thrud like, he made us do this, I'm like, dude, seriously? Like, what... She isn't gonna believe your ass. She just saw you stab her dad. What do you mean, like, they made me do... Like, what... This... That doesn't make any sense. Or is that just a God of War 1 reference? When he killed his own family. No, here's one thing. Too many references. I think this game had too many references from God of War 4. I feel like the references were, like, playing the game safe. They played this game way too safe. And not like too safe, but they played it pretty safe. To a point where I'm just like, what? I don't know, man. The references and callbacks to the previous game was just way too much, especially when you have that God of War recap. And the Prime show, or the Amazon Prime, whatever that, like, the thing is, if that's just based off of the previous game, no, stop. Start with God of War 1. Or, no, I'm sorry. Well, no, start with God of War Ascension, and then Chains of Olympus, and then God of War 1. So it's in chronological order. If you're gonna make a TV show, make it with, you know, don't just do this new series. What about the other games? Have some respect for them. I feel like what happens now is, like, they killed the, like... I feel like that the Greek pantheon, like, all of Greece is just completely forgotten about, and then they just reference Deimos and, like, the Sisters of Fate, like, you remember this happening, and I'm just like, yeah, I remember that reference. Excuse me 1 second. Hold on, give me a second. Alright, sorry about that. Yeah, I feel like there were too many references. Too much, too many. I don't know. References were just... It was just a lot of references. I don't really know what else to, you know, say on that matter. The previous game was talked about way too much. Like, I get, like, you're trying to understand... I'm gonna repeat myself here. Like, you're trying to, like, make the... Probably never play the previous game... understand what was going on, but you have that recap. Like, okay, Freya with Baldur, that's fine. Like, during, the first time you're in, what was it, Vanaheim? I don't remember. First time you're there, then yeah, that's perfectly fine. But yeah, otherwise it's like, when talking about, like, I guess Deimos, it made sense, but just the way, like, Atreus, like, in the direction of, like, some of the stuff I felt like they need to tone it down on some references. Or have it just be secret dialogue. Like, post-game dialogue or something. Like, during the main adventure I'm talking about specifically here. I'm not talking about any side missions. Oh, well, I will talk about one. Brock dying kinda sucked. I think, personally, when you... in my opinion, when they had Brock dying, I felt... When Brock died, I felt like it was like, really? I mean, like, he died before, and he kinda had a nice little wrap-up to, like, his story, to, like, his arc in the game, his arc in the story, like, it needs, like, when... I think the spear... like, when he's, like, you know, when the spear scene where he's like, I knew it, I died, I fucking died. When Kratos is just like, it needs, like, the solar heart of the blessings of a great blacksmith. Like, that is, like, what should have, like, stayed for Brock. That should have ended Brock's, like, character. He should not have gotten fully killed off if you were gonna pull something like that. And I'm gonna be honest, I did not like the fact... I just didn't like Brock dying. That was my opinion. Oh, and Sindri. Oh my god. They assassinated Sindri, like, in the end. Like, they assassinated his character completely. I don't like the fact that, you know, he's so, like... I did not like Brock dying at all, and what happens to Sindri afterwards is just, why is this here? Like, I don't like it. I don't have a reason, I just don't... Oh, I might have a reason. I just don't like it. It's a bit anticlimactic, but now I'm starting to understand, like, why, like, he'll be the one to break, like, Odin's soul. And we'll talk about the ending. I did not like that Asgard. But we'll talk about it in a second. I just think, like, Sindri got, like turned into, like, became Freya. But now, since, like, we're moving to a new pantheon, like, we don't know, like, oh, what the hell's gonna happen. And, yeah. I don't know. I really just don't, I just don't know. I just didn't like Sindri the way he acted in that final section. He acted too grumpy, and, like, he was too pissed, and I get, like, always... It's just, I don't know, man. I'm mixed about Sindri's character. Like, if we can get to a bit of a conclusion on this section. Okay. Now we're gonna get to... Now, character designs, I don't care. I do not care for character designs at all. I think they all look fantastic. I'll get that out of the way. Asgard sucks. I'm gonna be brutally honest here. I do not like Asgard at all. The way it looks, the way it's designed. In general, I think Asgard was, like, a disappointing end to the game. It's not like Batman Arkham... I kinda like Batman Arkham Knight's ending, but... Like, when it comes to the story in general, I know I'm jumping between things, but, like, when it comes to the story in general, it's kind of, like, it's like a block, not like a block, like, a leap and bound, not leaps and bounds, like, 2 leaps and bounds better than Arkham Knights. Which, to me, that's not saying much. You know what, no, it's just better than Arkham Knights, but that's not the point. What was I talking about? Yeah, Asgard, I don't like the way Asgard was designed. I kind of would prefer if they took a little bit, like, I don't want to say, like, the MCU version, but I would say, like, something like, it's like this dark, like, area, like, you're in, like, just nighttime there. Like, the first time I get it can be day, but, like, some character, no, it's like, Odin, like, huh? It's like some characters just don't feel... I'm not characters. Oh my god, I'm losing my train of thought. I'm sorry. It feels like Asgard just looks... I just don't like the design of Asgard. I feel like it could have looked a lot better than some old village. I wish it looked more like a royal palace or something. I don't know if that's like what it normally is in the myth. But I wish it looked more like somewhat godly. I'll check right now. Like, I don't know what Asgard is supposed to... Like, here's like a picture of Asgard from, like, Myths Lore Wiki. Something like that, I think, would have been cool. Like, the way they did it was like a decrepit village. Not a decrepit. It looked like a cooling village. Something like that, you know? And, like, the Rainbow Bridge wasn't there, too. And I will agree on Captain Cuba, we should have fought Heimdall on the Rainbow Bridge, but... You know, the way his character was, it's just, oh my god. Dude, okay, I'll say a positive right now. Heimdall's character is perfect. He's such a good love-to-hate character that when it came to beating the shit out of him and just straight up killing him, I loved it. I loved when, like, that Kratos snapped. I wish he did it again. But... yeah, like Heimdall getting what he deserves. You kind of feel bad for him a little bit. Like, I kind of felt bad. Like, man, I don't think he deserved, like, this torment. But he was an asshole to Thrud and stuff, so, you know. Yeah, I just wish Asgard was differently designed. And the ending sucked. Like, the final section of Asgard sucked. Too much enemies, in my opinion. Too much enemy spam. Wait, and maybe that's because I just wanted to rush the game and finish it, but no. Too much enemies. The Ragnarok beast felt very, very rushed, and it was just, like, forced in there. It felt very forced to have that guy there. And, like, when you're recruiting an army. I feel like during the middle of the game, you should have recruited that army. I'll talk about my rewrite idea, of what should have happened. But, in my opinion, what should have happened. But, no. The thing is, I think that... I'm sorry, my brain's gonna do this. Asgard just... That final area felt too... It felt like, what, like 20 minutes? 30 minutes? I think 40? No, it just didn't... It just wasn't a lot. I feel like the final section should have been, like, at least, like... Not an hour. Like... Maybe an hour and a half long. Or maybe even a little bit more than that. But 40 minutes is just... Nah, dude. Come on, man. That's too much. For a game that size, that's too much. 90 gig... That game... I'm sorry, but that game did not feel like 90 gigabytes. That game felt like... That game felt like it should have been like 30 at least. And... I don't know, man. Also, Sith, just that interaction, the two times Sith is in, like, a cutscene. Not in a cutscene, I'm sorry. The last two times, like, when she's, like, talking about Magni and Modi to Thor, and then when she's talking to Thrud about Odin being an asshole, I feel like Sith was very rushed. But, yeah, Sith just felt very... Sith just made no sense, and the director, I heard that there was a new director, like a director that's new, I think new to writing storytelling or something like that, or like it's new to the series or new writing storytelling. Listen, if you're watching this, I'm sorry, but you should have been like directing the next game and not this one. This game like felt very... Like, for a first time, for a first time writing a game, I think, for, like, a first timer like you did pretty good. But for writing a sequel that was so built up, this is like an Arkham City A Night situation. It's disappointing. Like, I personally found it disappointing. There was some things, like, I was thinking the whole time, oh, is the Blade of Olympus going to be in this game? It should be. Because you're about to, like, literally kill a pantheon. Like, I thought, yeah, we were going to, like, destroy Asgard. Like, I was, like, ready to, like, destroy Asgard, but... Yeah, I like the final section, though, with Odin's boss fight. I think Odin's boss fight's way too short. I think, like, Asgard felt, like, very rushed and they ran out of time, but... Just the boss fights was there, and anticlimactic with Freyr sacrificing himself, that shouldn't have happened either. That was uncalled for. And, yeah, let's, I'm gonna get into my rewrite part here. So, here's what I would have done. Oh yeah, and Tyr is, spoiler alert, if you haven't played the, like, 100% of the game, Tyr being a fake was a good idea until they decide to pull an Arkham Knight and say, oh no, he's actually alive. And he's in, like, these sections. They like, Arkham Origins black masked his ass. Like, I'm sorry, but that was, like, such a rob of Tyr. And you reduce him to a side mission. A side mission. Really, man? Oh, listen, that was just fucking stupid. I'm not gonna lie to you on that. That was stupid. That side mission was dumb. I didn't even play it. I saw it on YouTube. I'm like, are you kidding me? Are you fucking kidding me right now? Are you kidding me? So yeah, Tyr's apparently alive. That just ended up in the trash can. Apparently Tyr's alive. What the fuck? Just waste of my time, man. Waste of my time. And I know I made that comment, like, oh, if Brock dies, we have to fight Sindri and make him go sane. But I have since regret making that comment. Like, no, listen, I deeply regret that comment now. Sindri going nuts, I mean, hey, I kind of predicted I was right, but I deeply was like, no, this can't happen. Alright, here's what I would have done differently. I don't even know when midway through the game is. Like, seriously, though, I just don't know when midway through the game. Midway through the game, let's just start this over. Here's how I would rewrite, Ragnarok. The beginning of the game will stay, but you'll be fighting Thor outside instead of that bar, that stupid scene at the dinner. No, not the dinner. With that, I'm not counting that stupid scene. You know which one I'm talking about. The one with, the one where he's in his house. Nah, get rid of that, and then just have just Thor be there. And you fight Thor. And then Jormungandr wakes up, Thor leaves. Alright, that's how I would start the game. If I can be honest with you. That's personally how I would start the game if I was in charge. Now, from there, I think, you know, going to Svartalheim and freeing Tyr, the real Tyr, is a good idea. Now, he won't be, like, so down and depressed. He will be, like, ready for war, but but you need to find a few people before, like, you know, recruiting the army. So the game would play out normal, and then the first Atreus section would happen. Where Kratos is, like, okay, in this rewrite of events, Kratos isn't like, I don't want Ragnarok to start. He would be like, we must prepare for what happens. Because remember, the last game, after that secret cutscene, it's like, oh, shoot, we gotta prepare for, you know, what happens, and stuff. Yeah, so they should be preparing and training, and Atreus shouldn't be complaining like a whining bitch. The bear fight will be the same. I'm just keeping that in mind as well, side note for that. But I think maybe recruiting everybody, and Tyr will be, like, holding down the fort, thinking of a plan with Brock and Sindri, and then the game I think will go like on normally with Atreus. But then instead of like that, okay, that first section, Atreus will fight Freya for a little bit. It won't be a long fight, but Atreus will fight Freya for just a little bit, and then a cutscene will distribute. The first Atreus section is fine. Then you can bring it back to everyone else, and I forget what happens. Okay, let's walk through this together. Let me pull up my playthrough of Ragnarok. Let's see. Let me see what I can remember from it, because I do forget insanely what I think it was like the second part. No, that was Spartal. That was Spartalheim. It was, shoot, I can't remember. Was it this one? Oh no, this was Jotunheim. What was this? Yeah, you free tier. And then they do after. What do they do after that? Okay, it's the other part 3. Hold on one sec, folks. I'm trying to remember what happens afterwards. Like, I'm serious right now. I do forget. Yeah, I streamed that crap ton. See, okay, hold on. Oh, fuck, Alfheim. Alright, I think Alfheim will just stay the same. Aside from Tyr wanting to, like, Tyr won't fight them, obviously. I think Tyr would have, I think Tyr will have some sympathy towards, like, some of the elves. And he doesn't really want them to fight. That makes sense. Alfheim's next. I hate Alfheim. I wasn't a fan of Alfheim's, like, puzzles. But, hey, it's not worse. It's at least better than Asgard. Give it that. But, yeah, wake up in, come on. This is, I'm sorry if I'm cutting, I'm just out of it. The boss, I think Alfheim is gonna be, I'll leave Alfheim alone. And then I think maybe after that is the second Atreus section. That section should be cut down by like 75%. That section should just be shortened. And then I think Freya will then join along. And then Freya would join along after. That would stay fine. Then go into Alfheim to fight the Thing. And then talking with what's his name? We'll be talking with I don't know. We'll be talking with Thor's, not Thor. No. Aiden, wake up. I have the ending all planned out, but nothing in between, so I'm just making shit up as I go. Before, what was I talking about? Okay, so after that, Freyr then gets the idea to gather an army. So when you leave, you know, you go gather an army and stuff like that. And then Atreus is with you or not with you, or does he run off? I don't remember what happens at that part. I think he, like, runs off to Asgard. So, I feel like during the Asgard parts, I think Atreus' first Asgard section will be, like, after, like, he was, like, judged for, you know, what he did and stuff. So, not judge for what he did. No, he'd be like concerned. Like everyone would be concerned and talking to him afterwards. And oh no, after you get back from Vanaheim. Oh my god. So after you get back from Vanaheim, you then go to Thor. Not Thor. You then go to shit. Come on, Aim. Wake up. I'm sorry for like the one person that's watching that's like, oh my god, can you get to the fucking point? I am so sorry for you. Like, really, I am. But the Vanaheim, okay, just everything plays out, and then the Asgard section, which actually looks much better, you start to talk to the people. You don't go on any missions with Thor. Now, cut all that bullshit out. That shit sucked. And you just start to know Thrud. You get to know her more, how she hates her stepfather. As she hates Thor being somewhat drunk and insecure. So yeah, Thrud will be a boss fight, but not like, but should be like a sparring match. Heimdall will still be there shit talking all the way though. Don't worry about that. Anyways, on to the next part. It's like when Atreus like sleeps, like goes to sleep, and Kratos is like looking for him. Like Kratos has no idea where he's at. You then are uniting the all the realms. This is like the part of the game where I'm like, okay, you go to Svartalheim. No, not Svartalheim. You then would go to an area and get the spear, and then like you get the spear as normal. I think after Atreus's thing. I think is it after the Atreus section? I can't even remember. But then I had another idea. It's like, okay, he has the spear. We're gonna keep the spear in the game. Then we're going to have Brock's arc be completed. Like, you know, nothing bad happens to him. It's fine. We go to these areas where, you know, Atreus is the first one to go to. And then Atreus is final Asgard section would be accidentally freeing Garm. I think freeing Garm while you're in like the other areas like Muspelheim and that, recruiting an army, will be fine. We're gonna cut out the guy that like turned into Ragnarok. We're gonna cut him out. I don't really like him in the story at all, so we're just gonna cut him out. It'll be like a side character. Give him a side mission or something. Like help him fix his wife, I don't know. But yeah, so you're going through the realms, you fight Garm, you fight the Twin Dreki, but then you go to Vanaheim last. Alright, you recruit everybody, Vanaheim. Then Vanaheim okay, so Vanaheim will be like where you are going to somewhat start Ragnarok. Now, in the game, Skull and Hati have no major role at all. And that kind of sucks, because that's what I was looking forward to. At this point in the game, Kratos is like Atreus does that final thing in what was it? No, Atreus does that thing in Hell, and then instead of Sith like feeling all bad, like Sith is like, this guy murdered our boys. That'll be happening in Hell and not where the other place, wherever the other part was. Was it Midgard? No, I don't know where it was. I don't care. The place where like Thor tries to kill Atreus in front of Odin and everybody. So then you would be like, oh shoot, I messed up. We have to stop Garm. So now you're like, all right, well, Garm we gotta stop, and then you know the Garm thing, it plays out the same. Fenrir is you know normal, right? Right? Yeah, Fenrir becomes back and is like Fenrir is now in Garm's body, and he's fine now. So he opens a wolf to Vanaheim, no, a portal to Vanaheim, and then he heads home. And then Angerboda shows up and takes care. Angerboda shows up right next to. No, okay, let's redo that. Angerboda shows up right next to Kratos and Atreus, and she tells him like, "Oh, I'm gonna take care of. I'll take care of Fenrir. You guys just go to Vanaheim. and then start Ragnarok. Now, in this scenario, Tyr is going to be leading as a general, and when you shoot the arrows for the sun and the moon, and I mean, as we shoot the arrows for the sun and the moon, like, when that scene happens, the wolves, Skull and Hati, are going to start to devour the moon. Something different then happens. Thor shows up. And Thor is like, you think I wouldn't find you? You fucking... I don't know, whatever you'd say. He wouldn't be drunk, he'd be full out pissed. So then, Thor would try to kill Atreus. Kratos jumps in front of him. And by the way, there is no Heimdall fight yet. We steal the horn. Atreus steals the horn from him. But there is no Heimdall fight, because he left it somewhere, and he was, like, in another thing. So, yeah. Actually, no. You know what? Let's scrap that. Let's keep Heimdall the horn. Let's let him keep the horn. So, now Kratos dies. Alright? Kratos is dead. And it's like, oh, Mimir's like freaking out, like, oh god, laddie, the prophecy was true all along. And Thor basically was just like, as a word for his father, it's like, I'll deal with you later. And he leaves. Because he's, now, what Thor is like, he can't distract himself, because he's getting prepared for you know, Ragnarok to happen. So now, you've been recruiting spree, and Skull and Hati are already chasing the sun and the moon. So now, what you need to do... So now, as Atreus, you have to head back to... No, you got to head back to Midgard, where everybody's planning their stuff. Actually, everybody's at Sindri's house, planning preparations now. And everyone's wondering, well, like, oh shit, what do we do now? Kratos is gone. It's like, well, Tyr is like, I'll lead. And Atreus is like, I'll give a speech before the war starts. Something like that. So, here's what happens now. And this is something I really wanted to happen, but I was so disappointed that it never did. Kratos goes to Hell. Oh, no, no, no. I'm sorry. Not Helheim. No, 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 no. Hell in Greece. That's right. Kratos is back in Greece. Everything's destroyed. Everything's decrepit. You see, in my head canon, it's 11 years after between God of War 3 and God of War 4. It's like 11 years. Ragnarok is 3, so it's like, it traces like, what, 15, 16? You know? This part of the game, you won't play as, you know, anything else. You won't do, you know, nothing out of the ordinary. But you would be going through Hades' chamber. Then you would be getting up to another area, which apparently the portal is still open. You reactivate a portal. And then, yes, I did. I'm just talking about a rewrite. I'm just talking about, like, my rewrite idea. Because I wasn't really that pleased with the original story. So, in this rewrite, my idea, Kratos would then go to Greece. And then, I should have made a discussion. I was talking about my rewrite section. But, Kratos would be in Greece, and you wouldn't encounter any gods there. I was thinking maybe Apollo and Artemis. That could have been a good one to fight, but maybe have him fight both Apollo and Artemis, and he just straight up kills them. Actually, no, he spares them. He spares them out of pity. Because he's like, I'm not like that anymore, and I need your help, because Asgard is like, we're all infiltrating Asgard in another realm. And Apollo wants no part of this, or Apollo, whatever his name is, he wants no part of this war, but he's like, just get the hell out of here, man. And what Kratos does is he goes to this, oh, I'm sorry. So where you fight Apollo and Artemis is like in this new palace of Greece. And what's up? Yeah, I'm just doing a rewrite idea.
Frank's.
What?
Frank's.
Oh, is Mike here?
No. I would have said Frank's.
Brian's. Okay, well, I don't know what you're... So anyways, Kratos will grab Kratos will grab one weapon only. Well, two. Helios' head and the Blade of Olympus. Now you're wondering, why Helios? Look at my profile picture. Really? Why Helios? Look at my profile picture. But also, you're going to need some light. When Skull and Hati eat the sun and the moon, it's going to be utter darkness. So Helios is going to need to be Kratos' lantern. So basically, he takes the Blade of Olympus and goes. Meanwhile, Tyr is getting ready to prepare for an attack. So Atreus and Tyr are going up against... At the start of Ragnarok happens. Atreus and Tyr are going up against Heimdall. In like, kind of the same way as you did with Kratos. But you're fighting on the Rainbow Bridge this time. You then encounter, I gotta make this quick because I might have to go. You then encounter, Helios and... No, not Helios. You then basically, after that part of the game, you then switch back to Kratos. You don't switch back to Kratos. You then enter Asgard and just start killing everything. Like, everything's weak. Like, people are, like, there. And then... What's her name, dude? Thor's daughter, Thrud, I don't remember, I don't know her name, I keep forgetting her name, Thrud, we'll just say Thrud. Thrud, is, basically, like, doing that same cutscene, but then, like, she's, like, trying to protect her mother and stuff, and her mother comes clear and say, like, Odin's lied to you. She'll do the same thing, but it'd be, like, a bit more understanding. He's, like Atreus is giving her a warning. And then, after that warning, Skull and Hati eat the sun and the moon. Place is completely pitch black. And Kratos and, like, the wall of Asgard, part of the wall in Asgard, just gets decimated by Kratos with the Blade of Olympus in tow. And the only way to get the Blade of Olympus is to activate Spartan Rage. Or Rage of Sparta. And in this part, you will have the twin Valkyrie fight be, in, like, some sort of alternate area. Like, it'd be, like, before Vanaheim with Kratos and Atreus, that twin Valkyrie fight. Just a side note. Back on track. Kratos and Atreus will be reunited, and then they go to the Hall of Asgard. They will encounter both a double fight between Thor and Odin. And this time with Freya accompanying them. So, Kratos tries to reason with Thor. And after, like, you know, the reasoning, it'll be the same as the original. It's like, we don't want to raise our kids like this, it's not right. Then Thor would be like, you're right. This isn't, like, he'll act the same and Thor's death will happen, you know, the exact same way. And Odin will be so pissed. He has the mask. He stole it from Atreus. He has the knowledge. Oh, and the mask, the parts of the masks were, but yeah, the parts of the masks you were finding with Kratos. I don't know. Let's just say he has the mask and he uses it. He becomes unstoppable. Not unstoppable, he becomes powerful. And then he would be so... Odin would be, like, so powerful, he knocks Atreus out. And you think he's dead. Angrboda gets up and Fenrir, like, while fighting, like, some giant beings, would look at him and, like, oh my god, no, Atreus is dead. Kratos is so pissed in this section. The Rage of Sparta theme from God of War 3 starts playing. Oh, and also, side note, again, Freya actually brought Helios back to life with a little bit of magic. she had, so now Helios will be able to do like more powerful stuns. Because Kratos, needed Helios to be fixed. So yeah, he's back to normal talking. So him and Mimir are gonna be bantering. Oh yeah, and in this section, Sigrun, Mimir's head is on the back of Sigrun. Just because of the section. Kratos is so red-raged pissed. He's going through walls, and Odin's health bar is going down, 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 and down. Like, it's even going, past the health bar. So then Odin will be, summoning and becoming giant, unpowerful, unstoppable. And then the final boss theme plays, and Atreus wakes up seeing, Kratos is, in this red rage form, using the Blade of Olympus. And then Brothers of Blood starts playing, after halfway through the fight. And it's like a great. You have Kratos, Atreus, Freya, Brock, Sindri, all there fighting Odin, and it's just snapped. It was it would just be a major fight, and then at the end, the world is destroyed, and Kratos would just be upset about it because he just destroyed another pantheon. And now he's unfortunately, and now he's it's a depressing ending because he didn't want this to happen again, and he just wants to move away from this place. Of course, he brings Helios, but sadly, he then is we'll do a few favors. And then we're leaving. So the true ending is Kratos and Atreus leave. The destiny, the prophecy was fake. It was a broken prophecy. And that's it. I gotta get going. I'll see y'all later. Sorry I couldn't make this rewrite much more fleshed out. Maybe I will later, but right now